The mental chaos of jumping from worry to distraction to the never-ending to-do list, it's not just exhausting, it's also stealing your focus and it's holding you back. So let's work on fixing that. So imagine this. Imagine your mind is like a cluttered room. There are piles of unfinished tasks. There are random distractions all over the place, and your worries and your thoughts are scattered everywhere. It's hard to find what you need, let alone figure out where to start or what to actually focus on. Mental clutter has a real impact on you. It drains your focus, it dampens your creativity, and it ramps up your stress levels. But when you clear the clutter, it's like opening the window in a stuffy room. Suddenly there is room and there's space to breathe and there's room and there's space to move around. You feel more calm and peace in your life. Your focus sharpens, decision-making gets easier, and you have more energy to pour into what truly matters to you. So how do we get there? We're going to talk today about a couple of mindfulness exercises, prioritization and time blocking, and intentional routines. And a lot of this you've probably heard about. You've probably heard about a lot of these things, but I'm going to put a different spin on them. Maybe you've tried some of these things before and you didn't like doing them, or you got too overwhelmed, or you did it, but it didn't really stick. But trying my way, the mindful way, I think you'll come away with a different mindset. So first up, we have our mindfulness decluttering techniques. Number one, surprise, surprise, is mindfulness meditation. This mindfulness meditation, it's about training your brain to focus on the present moment and letting go of those annoying, never-ending, intrusive thoughts just for a couple of moments. You're not supposed to clear your mind completely. You're not supposed to forget about everything. You're just supposed to focus in a certain area or focus on one thing for a little while. And studies show that it can really reduce mind wandering and negative thinking. But a lot of people still get frustrated with meditation, and it doesn't end up being a helpful tool. And that's because you're probably putting too much pressure on it. You think that you have to completely clear your mind to be successful. You think that you have to really tune into your breath in order for it to actually work. But even just the main purpose is just to really get you to be still for a few moments, to stop trying to do too much all at once. And so I don't want your mind to stop working during meditation. I want you to find clarity. I want it to inspire or motivate you to get out of freeze mode. If you're new here, I am a certified mindfulness meditation teacher, and publishing meditations is one of my favorite things to do. I do have a few of my playlists on here of my meditations, and I'm also a meditation teacher on Insight Timer if you're on that app. There's a link below in my profile. But in my meditations, I make an effort to publish simple 5-minute sessions that focus on affirmations and mantras that are meant to ease your mind and to help you find clarity and focus in your day. They are low key and a fun way to get into meditation if you don't really have much experience with it. So go check those out. Next, we have journaling. Don't roll your eyes. Sometimes your thoughts just need an exit point. You got to get it out of here and put it out there, so you stop stressing about it. But if you're not the type of person who likes to actually sit down and write for a long period of time in a journal, or if it can't be part of your morning routine, we'll touch more on that in a few minutes, here's how I find journaling to be the most effective. I want you to create or have a mindset notebook, something that you can grab frequently throughout your day, and you're going to just write down things as they pop into your head. Just have it sitting on the kitchen counter or something somewhere where it's easily accessible, and as you walk by, write down that thought or write down that feeling. Declutter your brain by not having to remember everything. By putting your worries or your thoughts on paper, you're externalizing them, making them feel more manageable. You see this list and you're like, oh, okay, I can do those things, or I can pick a few things from there I can do. And it's less things that you have to remember to do. It feels like it's a lot more when it's up here in your head. So take the tasks, the emotions, or the feelings out of your memory and compartmentalize them somewhere else externally. It's also a great way to uncover some patterns or gain clarity in how either you run your day or your day runs you. If you feel like things are out of control, look at everything you wrote down. What does it tell you? Just try that for a few days. See if there's some patterns. The next thing I want to talk about are decluttering digital and physical spaces. Your surroundings affect your mental state. Take a few minutes to tidy up your desk or create a clean corner or clean area in your home that you spend a lot of time in. That's really important to you. And communicating about this can really help you too. This has helped my husband and I understand each other a little bit better. We realized that I freak out and I get frustrated if the kitchen is in disarray. I will not feel calm unless the kitchen is clean. My husband has a different focus. He gets frustrated when the kids leave toys and pillows and blankets all over the family room. But knowing this about each other has helped us. After dinner, I can clean up the kitchen, he can clean up the family room, and by the time we're ready to sit down and relax in the evening, boom, 2 areas of the house are cleaned up, and neither of us felt extra pressure of having to do too much, having to do it all. It's amazing how clearing physical clutter can bring a sense of calm to your mind. I've also started taking a carload of donations to a local center once a month. I feel a sense of relief every time I do that, and I encourage you to try it too. And bonus points if you can find a good cause or a good place to donate your items to. And don't forget that all of this can also be applied to your digital devices. Schedule in time at whatever frequency is good for you to unsubscribe, unfollow, rearrange, delete old apps, update passwords. Just do some of these things that just get lost in your day and you're just clicking on things all over the place. Rearrange, update, delete, unfollow. Clear up your physical and your digital spaces to clear up your mind space. So now let's move on to rewarding yourself with meaningful activities. This one you got to be a little creative about. Learning to say no is one of the best ways to protect your mental energy and clear something off your plate. Clear boundaries with work and with social obligations help you to prioritize what matters most. You know that. That's not new information. But here's my challenge for you. When you set a boundary or say no to something, I want you to fill that extra time with something meaningful to you. Something that you want to do. Don't fill that time or that mental space back up with other obligations that you really, really don't want to do or you're not into. You have to reward yourself for putting your foot down, for saying no to something, or you're not going to reap the benefits of setting that boundary. So for instance, if somebody asks you to go do something this weekend and you say, you know what, I really don't have time for that. I can't do that right now. Don't just turn around and then fill your weekend up with meaningless chores or binge watching a TV show. Look at that mindset journal that you've been writing in. Look at your to-do list. Pick something that will really make you feel fulfilled or accomplished and get that thing done. Then you will feel so much better about that time that you just spent. When you're doing things that align with your values, you're less likely to get bogged down and overwhelmed by distractions. So when you say no to something, say yes to yourself by doing something that's rewarding. And that's actually a pretty good segue into my next one about utilizing your mental space well with prioritizing and time blocking. One of the easiest ways to declutter your mind is to prioritize tasks, which I touched on a little bit in the mindset journaling, but I'm also pretty sure you've seen some of those daily planners or journals that want you to pick 3 priority tasks that you must get done that day. They say that 3 tasks helps you to not get distracted and to focus on just those things, which I totally get. That makes sense. I'm sure that works for some people. But let me tell you, as someone who is busy and somewhat scatterbrained, only picking 3 things to focus on in my day really actually stresses me out. I get stressed out having to pick 3 things. Like, yeah, I have to get these things done for work, but I also have to get these things done at home in my personal life. How do I choose between those? And so my solution is actually pretty simple. And I mentioned this in a YouTube short the other day. You pick 3 work things and 3 personal things that you want to get done every day. In my brain, it helps me to time block better, and bonus points, it helps set a boundary between work and home life. There's that word again, boundaries. And so I'm not seeing my work things and my personal things jumbled on the same to-do list. That's very overwhelming. But separating them, the work things and the personal things, keeps my focus and keeps the balance and keeps intentionality behind it, where it needs to be, where my mindset needs to be at different times of the day. So then you can use time blocking to allocate specific chunks of your day for different activities. By giving your work stuff and your personal stuff clear time slots, you free yourself from decision fatigue and you make space for deep focus work. You're decluttering your brain. And this can be adapted to anybody. If you're a stay-at-home parent, maybe you can separate your tasks and your lists into the adult things that you need to get done, the laundry, the bills, the groceries, the meal planning, and then you can also have a separate list for the parenting things or the kid things that you want to get done parent-wise or with your kids. Again, you're just prioritizing and separating your day out into separate times to declutter all of the things going on, and it prevents them from swirling around in your brain all at the same time, which is what causes that scatterbrained feeling. So lastly, I want to talk about the power of routines. But first of all, let me remind you and reiterate that routines aren't about following someone else's blueprint. They're about finding what works for you. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you ideas that you can adapt into your own lifestyle. So let's start with your morning routine. I was watching a YouTube video recently on morning routines, and it said that the time you have in the morning is the only time of the day that's totally yours and that you get to dictate because nothing else has happened yet. You choose how your morning goes. That's what it said. While that's a great concept, again, it doesn't pertain to everyone. When you're a parent of a young kid who wakes up at 5 or 5:30, it's completely unreasonable to say that you have to wake up an hour before them to have your alone time and to get into your routine. When you're a parent, you often do not actually have a say in how your morning goes. That's the reality of the situation. Or if you're in a profession where you need to be on call, or a teacher dealing with all these snow days that we're having right now and updates into your schedules and things that are altering constantly. For so many people, no matter how early you wake up, it's hard to have an uninterrupted morning. So let's figure out how to add mindfulness into your morning, but make it adaptable. Instead of forcing yourself to meditate, journal, or go for a walk first thing in the morning, I want you to try and find the mindful transitions that we talked about last week. So for example, as you go from the bedroom to the bathroom right after you woke up, take some deep breaths and stretches as you're walking. Feel your muscles, listen to those joints popping as you get going and get moving. Get in tune with your body and how it feels in the morning. The more you do this, the more you'll be able to notice how your body feels when it's good and how it feels when it's not doing so well. All right, so let's pause for a second because I have a funny story about something that I've noticed about myself. I've figured out through mindfulness that I have an overactive lymph node and it swells and kind of starts to ache before I get sick, a couple days before I get sick. So I can tell when I'm going to get sick, just like with a cold or something that takes a few days to develop and it doesn't come on right away. But mindfulness has helped me tune into that particular quirk in my own body. I used to not be able to pay attention to any of that stuff. I used to be an autopilot, just go, go, go. This is how my body feels, and I just accepted it. You can pay attention to these things. And so here's some other things that you can notice throughout your morning to make it a mindful morning. Add it to your mindfulness routine. Are your feet cold on the floor? Is the steam in the bathroom helping to clear up your sinuses? Do your joints feel a little bit achy? Just simple, mindful moments where you're noticing things instead of living on autopilot, like I just said. Create a slow morning by allowing your mind to wake up gently while you're doing the tasks or doing the things that you normally do. This is your routine. This is how you declutter your brain and become more productive. You could also do something simple like mentally set an intention as you pour your coffee. Or maybe you can even get your family involved in the mindfulness. If everyone's running around the house trying to get out the door, before you leave, press reset. Remind everyone to pause and take a breath and let's regroup. Let's not start our day off with chaos. Start with mindfulness. These small acts can ground you and set a positive tone for your day, even if you get interrupted, even if you're really busy, even if kids are running around screaming in the house. And so let's move on a little bit, but I really don't have much to say about the evening wind down routine because everyone's evenings are wildly different. But I do want to mention that sometimes evenings are the only time for solitude that you have. If right before bed is the only time you finally get to watch TV or scroll on your phone, if that's what you need, I say go for it. Don't come at me about all the toxic blue light stuff. I'm aware of all of that. I'm just here to remind you that just be mindful of what you consume if you're going to use devices in the evening. For example, before turning on the TV, take a moment to ask yourself, What show or activity will help you to truly wind down and relax? Maybe you shouldn't watch the news because it will get you all wound up. Or maybe you shouldn't watch that reality competition show because you're super nervous about who's going to win and what the outcome's going to be. Instead, maybe you can opt for a comfort show. This intentionality ensures that you're actually recharging rather than consuming something that will activate or upset your nervous system. Being mindful about what you need in that moment can help you to calm down and declutter your mind before bed. Just simple steps like this that you can take. But I do want you to remember that even though it's called a routine, flexibility is key. Adapt it to work for you. And each day may look a little different depending on what your mind and body need. And so that's where the adaptability comes in. So make it so that you can allow room for interruptions while still staying anchored in your priorities. The more you're mindful about your routines, the more they'll actually become second nature, making it easier to maintain productivity and clarity over time. And also remember that decluttering your mind it's not a one and done deal. You can't be like, oh, yay, I was mindful today. Tomorrow's going to automatically be better. It's going to take a long time. It's an ongoing process. Treat mental decluttering as a skill that you're refining over time. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Create a list of those decluttering tasks that will be most helpful to you and practice it. I guess that's going to be your mindful action for this week. I know I can't forget that part. Make a list of the mentally decluttering things that we talked about and the things that you think will work for you, and just practice them. Decluttering your mind isn't just about being productive. It's about creating space to truly enjoy your life. Start small, stay consistent. It's about making intentional choices to protect your peace and focus on what matters most. It's easy, it's simple, and it can make your life feel less chaotic. I'm really excited for you. I can't wait to hear how this all goes. So thank you so much for joining me today. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more mindful actions to help you stress less and live more. Until next time, stay mindful, take care of yourself, and go start decluttering your mind.